Lisa Harmon knew something was wrong the moment she turned onto her driveway. The lights in her daughter's bedroom were off. Zoe was afraid of the dark and always kept her star-shaped nightlight on, even during the day. Lisa pulled her old truck to a stop and stepped out, her boots crunching on the gravel. The Montana evening was quiet, too quiet. No sound of Zoe's favorite cartoon show that Mrs. Jenkins, the babysitter, always let her watch before bedtime. "Zoe?" Lisa called as she opened the front door. No answer. The living room was neat and tidy, which was unusual. Mrs. Jenkins typically left coffee cups and magazines scattered about. Lisa's hand moved to the small of her back where she kept her pistol. 5 years out of military intelligence hadn't dulled her instincts. "Mrs. Jenkins? Zoe?" Her voice echoed through the empty house. Lisa checked the kitchen, then moved quickly up the stairs. Zoe's bedroom door was open, her stuffed animals arranged neatly on her bed. But no Zoe. No Mrs. Jenkins either. Something glinted on the carpet near Zoe's window. Lisa knelt down and picked up a small metallic object, no bigger than a grain of rice. It wasn't from any of Zoe's toys. Lisa knew every one of them. Her phone rang. The caller ID showed it was Mrs. Jenkins. "Where's Zoe?" Lisa demanded without greeting. "I'm at the hospital," Mrs. Jenkins said, her voice shaky. "I don't know. What happened? 1 minute I was reading Zoe a story, the next I woke up on the lawn. The police are here. They want to talk to you." Lisa's world narrowed to a pinpoint. She drove to the local police station, the small metal object secured in a plastic bag. Sheriff Dan Miller had known Lisa since she moved to town 3 years ago with 2-year-old Zoe. "We've got people searching the woods behind your house," Sheriff Miller said. "No signs of forced entry. Mrs. Jenkins can't remember anything useful." "It wasn't a regular kidnapping," Lisa said, placing the metal object on his desk. The sheriff frowned. "You can't know that yet, Lisa." "I need to use your equipment," she said, nodding toward the station's small crime lab. Sheriff Miller hesitated, then nodded. Lisa had helped the department before, using skills from her former life. Under the microscope, the metal object revealed microscopic patterns that looked like circuit boards. Lisa took pictures and sent them to Ben Wright, her former colleague, at Military Intelligence. Ben's response came within an hour. "Not one of ours. Where did you find this?" By morning, men in black suits arrived. One introduced himself as Agent Keith Landry from the FBI. "We're taking over the investigation," he told Sheriff Miller, who looked relieved. Later, in a private room, Agent Landry faced Lisa. "You have clearance that expired 5 years ago, Mrs. Harmon. But given the circumstances, I'm authorized to tell you, Zoe is the 13th child to disappear this month, all between ages 7 and 10. "You know what took her," Lisa said. "It wasn't a question." Landry's face remained neutral. "What makes you think something took her?" Lisa placed the bagged metal object on the table. "This isn't human technology." "Mrs. Harmon, stop with the games," Lisa interrupted. "Either tell me what happened to my daughter or get out of my way." Landry studied her for a long moment. "There's someone you should meet." The drive to the hidden government facility took 3 hours. Dr. Olivia Weston met them at the entrance, her lab coat crisp and white against the gray concrete walls. "Mrs. Harmon, I understand your daughter is missing," Dr. Weston said. "I'm very sorry." "Tell me what took her," Lisa demanded. Dr. Weston led them to a secure room filled with screens and complex equipment. "We call them the Vrizians. They've been observing Earth for decades." "Aliens," Lisa said flatly. After what she'd seen during her military career, she wasn't shocked. "Yes, highly advanced. They've taken human subjects before but always returned them, usually with minor memory alterations," Dr. Weston explained. "But something's different this time," Lisa guessed. Agent Landry nodded. "None of the children have been returned, and the Vrizians aren't responding to our usual communication methods." Lisa thought of Zoe, alone and frightened among strange beings. "Why children? Why my Zoe?" "We believe they're conducting some kind of developmental study," Dr. Weston said. "Your daughter's test results from school show she has unusually high pattern recognition abilities, That might have made her interesting to them. Lisa felt cold rage building inside her. How do we get them back? Dr. Weston and Agent Landry exchanged glances. We're working through diplomatic channels, Landry said carefully. That means you're doing nothing, Lisa snapped. You're afraid of them. They're technologically thousands of years ahead of us, Dr. Weston said. One of their scout ships could destroy a city without effort. Lisa stood up. I don't care if they can destroy the whole planet. They took my daughter. Mrs. Harmon, please understand, Landry began. No, you understand, Lisa cut him off. Either you help me get my daughter back or I'll find a way myself. That night, Lisa broke into the facility. Her old skills hadn't completely faded. She downloaded files from Dr. Weston's computer, looking for anything that might help her find Zoe. The information was worse than she expected. The government had been aware of the Vrisians for over 50 years. They had a treaty that allowed limited scientific observation of humans in exchange for certain technologies. The children weren't supposed to be part of the deal. Lisa found what she needed, the energy signature of Vrisian ships. If she could track that, she might find where they took Zoe. The next day, she visited an old friend who owed her his life. Greg Patterson worked at a private aerospace company that tested experimental aircraft. It's insane, Greg said when Lisa explained her plan. The XR-7 shuttle isn't meant for what you're proposing. Can it follow this energy trail? Lisa showed him the data. Greg studied it. Theoretically, yes. But Lisa, this is suicide. Even if you could track them, what then? I'll figure that out when I find my daughter, Lisa said. Will you help me? Greg looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. The shuttle will be fueled and ready tomorrow night. As Lisa drove home to pack, her phone rang. It was Agent Landry. We know what you're planning, he said. It won't work. Then give me a better option, Lisa replied. Come in tomorrow. We'll discuss alternatives. Lisa knew a stalling tactic when she heard one. I'll be there. She had no intention of keeping that appointment. By the time the government realized she was gone, she would be following the Vrisian energy signature into the unknown. That night, Lisa looked at a picture of Zoe, her gap-toothed smile beaming from beneath a mop of curly hair. I'm coming for you, Lisa whispered. I don't care what it takes. She had no way of knowing that her journey would bring down 3 star systems and change the course of human history. Lisa Harmon just wanted her kid back. The stolen XR-7 shuttle vibrated around Lisa as she pushed it beyond its design limits. The energy trail left by the Vrisian ship grew stronger with each passing minute. She had been flying for 6 hours, leaving Earth far behind. The shuttle's warning systems flashed red. Lisa ignored them. She had disabled the communication system before leaving, knowing the military would try to talk her down. Nothing would stop her from finding Zoe. Suddenly, the energy readings spiked. A bright light appeared ahead, twisting space itself into what looked like a tunnel of swirling colors. Lisa had studied enough classified reports to recognize a wormhole when she saw one. This was how the Vrisians traveled such vast distances. Hold on, Zoe, Lisa whispered, gripping the controls tighter. Mom's coming. She aimed the shuttle directly at the wormhole. The small craft shuddered violently as it entered the swirling vortex. Lisa's vision blurred. Her body felt like it was being pulled in all directions at once. Then, just as suddenly, everything stopped. The shuttle emerged into unfamiliar space. A massive ringed planet loomed nearby, its surface a swirling mix of blues and purples. 2 moons orbited it, one natural and one clearly artificial. A giant space station shaped like a wheel. Lisa checked her instruments. The Vrisian energy signature led directly to that station. She steered the shuttle toward it, marveling at the hundreds of ships moving around the artificial moon. Ships of all shapes and sizes, clearly not of human design. Before she could get close, a bright beam of light locked onto her shuttle. Her controls went dead. The shuttle began moving on its own, pulled toward a large opening in the station's outer ring. Lisa reached for her pistol, knowing it would likely be useless but comforted by its familiar weight. She tucked it into her jacket and prepared to face whatever waited for her. The shuttle landed softly in a vast hangar filled with other vessels. As the door hissed open, Lisa found herself surrounded by tall, armored figures. They weren't human. Their proportions were wrong, with longer arms and backward-bending knees. Their helmets concealed their faces completely. One stepped forward, its armor more elaborate than the others. "Human," it said in perfect English, the voice surprisingly melodic. "You are far from your world. Explain your presence." Lisa stood, as tall as her 5'6" frame allowed. "My name is Lisa Harmon. Your people took my daughter. I want her back." The armored figures looked at each other. Their leader tilted its head. "I am Commander Nix of the Consortium Security Forces. Humans do not possess technology capable of following our ships. How did you track us?" "I followed the energy signature of the ship that took my daughter," Lisa said. "Where is she?" "No humans have been brought to Taurus 9 Station," Commander Nix replied. "Your pursuit was mistaken." Lisa took a step forward, ignoring the weapons that immediately pointed at her. "Then let me speak to the Vrisians. They're the ones who took her." This caused a stir among the guards. Commander Nix gestured, and 2 guards seized Lisa's arms. "You will be detained until we determine how to proceed with you." They led her through corridors filled with beings of different shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien, floating gas clouds contained in transparent suits, insect-like creatures scuttling on multiple legs, beings made of what looked like living crystal. Lisa's cell was small but clean. A force field served as the door, glowing faintly blue. She sat on the simple bed trying to think of her next move. The Vrisian energy trail had led here, but if her daughter wasn't on this station, where was she? Hours later, the force field disappeared. A human man entered, the first human face she had seen since leaving Earth. He was tall and lean, with a short beard and eyes that looked much older than his face. "I'm Garrett Walsh," he said quietly. "They sent me to talk to you, because we're the same species, though I haven't seen Earth in 15 years. Lisa stood up. "You're human? How did you get here?" Garrett sat on the small chair across from her. "I was abducted when I was 23. Research vessel studying Jupiter. The consortium found me useful, so they kept me around. I'm their expert on humans." "Do you know about the Vrisians?" "They took my daughter." Garrett's expression darkened. "The Vrisians. Yes, I know them. They're one of the 7 species that control the consortium. Very advanced, very secretive. They run research facilities in 3 distant star systems." Hope flared in Lisa's chest. "Research facilities? With human subjects?" "Possibly. They've been interested in humans for years, but the consortium has rules about interfering with developing worlds. Earth is classified as protected. No official contact yet." Garrett leaned closer. "If the Vrisians took your daughter, they broke consortium law, but they're powerful enough to get away with it." "I don't care about their laws," Lisa said. "I just want my daughter back. Where would they take her?" Garrett checked a small device on his wrist. "The guards will be back soon. Listen carefully. The main Vrisian research center is in the Cygnus Reach system. If your daughter is anywhere, she'd be there." "How do I get there?" Garrett looked uncomfortable. "You don't. Commander Nix has orders to send you back to Earth with a mind wipe. The consortium doesn't want humans knowing about them yet." Lisa grabbed his arm. "I can't go back without Zoe. Help me." Garrett studied her face. "You really came all this way, alone, in that primitive shuttle just for your daughter?" "I'd tear down the whole universe to get her back," Lisa said simply. Something changed in Garrett's expression. "Maybe you would, and maybe that's exactly what the consortium is afraid of." He glanced at his wrist device again. "I have access to the smaller vessels. If I help you escape, will you take me with you?" "Why would you want to leave? You've been here 15 years. Garrett's eyes hardened. "Because I've seen what the Vrisians do to their subjects. No child deserves that." Before Lisa could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Garrett looked surprised. "That's not for us. Something else is happening." The force field flickered and died. Emergency lights bathed the corridor in red. Garrett pulled Lisa to her feet. Stations switching to emergency power. Security systems are resetting. This is our chance. They ran, through the chaos of the corridors. Beings of all types moved urgently in different directions. No one paid attention to the two humans. Garrett led her to a small hangar bay filled with sleek vessels. These are short-range scouts, fast enough to get us to a jump point. Will it take us to Cygnus Reach? Not directly, but I know people in the outer systems who can help us get there. Garrett began activating one of the ships. First, we need to get away from Taurus 9. As they prepared to board the ship, Lisa paused. Wait. We need information about the Vresian facilities. Garrett pointed to a nearby terminal. Central database access. But hurry. Lisa used the skills from her intelligence days to navigate the alien system. The interface responded to her touch, seemingly able to translate her intentions. She found what she was looking for: coordinates, facility layouts, security protocols. Got it, she said, pulling a small data drive from her pocket and inserting it into the terminal. The download took seconds. As they boarded the scout ship, Lisa looked out at the vast space station teeming with alien life. Somewhere out there, 3 systems away, was her daughter. And now she had a map to find her. The scout ship slipped from the hangar bay, joining the stream of vessels leaving the station during the emergency. Lisa Harmon was one step closer to her daughter, and to the conflict that would bring 3 star systems crashing down. The scout ship darted between asteroids as Lisa and Garrett fled from Taurus 9 station. 3 consortium patrol vessels followed close behind, their weapons firing warning shots that lit up the darkness of space. They're not trying to kill us, Garrett said, his hands moving quickly over the ship's controls. Just disable us. Lisa studied the star map on the screen. How far to Cygnus Reach? Too far in this ship, Garrett replied. We need to lose these patrols first, then find better transport. He steered toward a dense field of asteroids. The small scout ship could navigate the tight spaces, but the larger patrol vessels would struggle to follow. There's a trading post on the edge of this system, Garrett explained. Lots of independent ships and crews. Not everyone loves the consortium. After an hour of tense flying, they lost their pursuers. The trading post appeared ahead, a collection of connected structures built into and around a massive asteroid. Ships of various designs docked at multiple ports. Welcome to Haven's Edge, Garrett said as they approached. Stay close to me and try not to stare too much. The docking bay was filled with beings loading cargo, arguing over prices and repairing ships. Lisa followed Garrett through the crowd, noticing how he kept his head down and moved with purpose. Need to find someone willing to take us to Cygnus Reach, Garrett whispered. It won't be cheap and it won't be safe. They entered a large open area filled with tables and booths. The air smelled of strange foods and drinks. Music played from somewhere, unlike any Lisa had heard before. That's our best bet. Garrett nodded toward a woman sitting alone at a corner table. She was human-looking, but with subtle differences. Her skin had a slight blue tint and her eyes were larger than normal. Captain Samantha Carter runs the independent trader Relentless Dawn, not afraid to bend rules. As they approached her table, Samantha looked up with narrowed eyes. Walsh, didn't expect to see you again. Last I heard you were playing pet human for the consortium. Things change, Garrett replied. We need passage to Cygnus Reach. Samantha laughed. Sure, and I need permission to fly through consortium space without being boarded. We all want things we can't have. Lisa stepped forward. I'm Lisa Harmon. The Vresians took my daughter. She's being held at their research facility in Cygnus Reach. I'll pay anything to get there. With what? Earth currency? Samantha scoffed. Worthless out here. I have information, Lisa said. Military training. Skills. Not interested, Samantha replied, turning back to her drink. A commotion at the entrance caught their attention. 6 armed figures entered, consortium security forces. They began checking IDs and questioning people. Looking for us, Garrett whispered. We need to move. But it was too late. One of the security officers pointed in their direction. The group started moving toward them, weapons ready. Samantha cursed under her breath. Of course you brought trouble. She touched a device on her wrist. Boys, we've got company. Plan B. Suddenly, the lights in the trading post went out. In the darkness, sounds of fighting broke out. When emergency lighting came on seconds later, the security forces were engaged in combat with a group of large, reptilian beings. Now, Samantha grabbed Lisa's arm. This way. They ran through service corridors until they reached another docking bay. A ship waited, sleek and dangerous-looking with visible weapon mounts and engines that glowed blue. Get in, Samantha ordered. Questions later. Inside the ship, they were met by a crew of 5, all different species. A tall woman with intricate tattoos covering half her face approached them. More strays, Cap? She asked Samantha. Potential clients, Maya, Samantha replied. Get us out of here before the consortium locks down the port. The ship lifted off smoothly. Through the viewport, Lisa saw consortium vessels approaching the trading post. They'll follow us, Garrett warned. Let them try, Samantha said with a grim smile. Dylan, activate the stealth system. A man with cybernetic implants visible on his neck nodded and flipped several switches. The ship's lights dimmed and a hum filled the air. That should buy us some time, Samantha said, turning to Lisa. Now let's talk about why I should risk my ship and crew to take you to one of the most heavily guarded Vrisian facilities in 3 systems. Lisa pulled out the data drive she had taken from the consortium database. Because I have complete schematics of their facility, security protocols, and patrol schedules. Samantha's expression didn't change. Not good enough. The Vrisians change their security every few days. Then why not just turn us in for the reward? Garrett asked. A shadow passed over Samantha's face. I have my reasons for disliking the Vrisians, but a suicidal rescue mission isn't on my schedule. Lisa stared directly into Samantha's eyes. What did they take from you? The captain's tough exterior cracked slightly. My brother, 30 years ago. He was returned, changed, died a year later. She stood up abruptly. You can stay aboard until we reach Helios Drift. Find your own way from there. As Samantha walked away, Maya approached them. Don't mind the captain. The Vrisians are a sore spot. We need to get to Cygnus Reach, Lisa insisted. My daughter is there. Maya studied her for a moment. How old? 8. Something changed in Maya's expression. The Vrisians have been taking children from 17 different species. The consortium knows but does nothing. They're too valuable as research partners. What research? Lisa asked, dreading the answer. Evolution manipulation, Maya replied. The Vrisians believe they've reached their evolutionary peak. They're looking for genetic traits from other species they can incorporate into their own. Lisa felt cold. And human children? Adaptability, Garrett answered. Humans can survive in environments that would kill most species. Our brains form new connections throughout our lives. The Vrisians want that. Before they could continue, alarms blared throughout the ship. Samantha's voice came over the speakers. Battle stations, Vrisian interceptor on approach. Maya rushed to a control panel. That's impossible. They couldn't have tracked us through the stealth system. The ship rocked as something hit them. Lisa grabbed a handrail to steady herself. Unless they were already looking for this ship, Garrett suggested. They made their way to the bridge where Samantha was shouting orders. Through the main viewport, Lisa saw a sleek black vessel firing energy beams at them. Evasive maneuvers, Samantha ordered. A young woman with short red hair, the pilot, worked the controls with impressive skill. Captain, we can't outrun them, the pilot said. Not with the damage to the port engine. Samantha looked at Lisa with sudden intensity. You said you have military training. What kind? Intelligence officer, special operations. Good enough. Samantha pointed to a weapons station. We need to disable their tracking system. Think you can handle it? Lisa took the seat and quickly familiarized herself with the targeting controls. They weren't that different from the simulations she had trained on. The Vrisian ship fired again, rocking their vessel. Lisa waited, watching the enemy ship's movement pattern. When it banked for another attack run, she fired. The beam hit exactly where she aimed, a small sensor array on the Vrisian ship's hull. The effect was immediate. The enemy vessel's movements became erratic. "Now, Aaron," Samantha shouted to the pilot, "get us into that nebula." The ship accelerated toward a colorful cloud of gas and dust. The Vrisian vessel followed, but its shots went wide, no longer able to track them accurately. Once inside the nebula, the dense particles obscured both ships. Aaron navigated by instinct more than instruments, eventually bringing them to a hidden area within the cloud. "We should be safe here for a while," Samantha said, turning to face Lisa. "That was impressive shooting." Lisa held her gaze. "I told you I have skills. Now, will you take us to Cygnus Reach?" Samantha glanced at her crew, then back to Lisa. "That Vrisian ship wasn't random. They're looking specifically for us, which means they know about you too. All the more reason to move. Quickly," Lisa argued. "Every day my daughter spends in their facility." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Samantha was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she nodded. "We'll help you get your daughter back, but not just her, all the children. The Vrisians have gone too far." "Can this ship handle that kind of mission?" Garrett asked. Samantha's lips curved into a grim smile. "The relentless Dawn has more surprises than you know. And so does my crew." Lisa looked around at the diverse group, humans and aliens united by a common purpose. For the first time since Zoe disappeared, she felt, "Real hope. We'll need a plan," she said. "We've got 3 days until we reach Cygnus Reach," Samantha replied. "Start thinking." As the others dispersed to their duties, Lisa studied the star chart showing their course. She was crossing lines she never thought possible, allying with beings she never knew existed, all for Zoe. The Vrisians had no idea what was coming for them. The relentless Dawn slipped through space toward Cygnus Reach, its stealth systems fully engaged. For 3 days, Lisa worked with Samantha's crew, preparing for the rescue mission. Each person on board had their own skills and their own reasons to hate the Vrisians. Maya Blake had been an engineer for the consortium before discovering the truth about Vrisian experiments. Dylan Foster had been a prisoner in a Vrisian facility for 2 years. Erin Delaney could fly anything with engines and had modified the ship herself. 2 more crew members, a muscular security expert named Peter Grant and a medical officer called Dr. Lana Rivera, rounded out the team. Lisa stood in the ship's planning room looking at a holographic display of the Vrisian research facility. "It's built into an asteroid," Maya explained. "Multiple levels, advanced security. The children are kept here." She pointed to a section deep within the facility. "How many guards?" Lisa asked. "At least 50, Dylan said. "Plus automated systems. I've updated the security codes from Lisa's data, but they change them regularly." Samantha entered the room. "We'll be arriving in 6 hours. Final briefing." The plan was complex but clear. Maya would use a virus to disable security systems. Dylan and Peter would create a diversion in the lower levels. Erin would keep the ship ready for a fast escape. Lisa, Samantha, and Garrett would find and free the children. "What about Dr. Rivera?" Lisa asked. "She'll prepare the medical bay for the children," Samantha replied. "Some may need immediate care." Garrett looked troubled. "We're talking about rescuing at least 30 children from 17 species. Even if we get them out, where do we take them? The consortium will hunt us across every system." A heavy silence fell over the room. Lisa hadn't thought that far ahead. Getting Zoe back was all that mattered. "One problem at a time," Samantha finally said. "First, we get the children." As the others left to prepare, Lisa studied the facility. Layout again. Something bothered her about the design. Why build a research facility so deep in an asteroid unless... "You're thinking they have a back door," Maya said, returning to the room. Lisa nodded. No researcher would design a facility with only one exit. Maya smiled slightly. "I was thinking the same thing. Look here." She adjusted the hologram, highlighting a section near the power core. "Unusual power readings. Could be a hidden hangar or emergency escape route." "Can we use it?" Lisa asked. "Maybe. but we'd need to access their main computer first. Lisa considered this new information. Change of plan. I'll go with you to the central computer. We'll find this back door before we get the children. Maya looked surprised. The central computer is the most heavily guarded section. Then we'll need to be quick, Lisa replied. Hours later, the relentless dawn approached Cygnus Reach, a system dominated by a blue giant star. The Vrisian facility orbited a dead moon far from the star's dangerous radiation. Approaching target, Aaron announced from the pilot's seat. No signs they've detected us yet. Lisa checked her borrowed weapon, a compact energy pistol that felt strange compared to her familiar firearms. Her mind was focused on Zoe. Was she scared? Had they hurt her? Lisa pushed those thoughts away. She needed to stay sharp. Remember, Samantha told the team as they prepared to board the small shuttle that would take them to the facility. We're on a clock, 30 minutes from insertion to extraction. Any longer, and reinforcements will arrive. The shuttle detached from the relentless dawn and moved silently toward the facility. Aaron's piloting skills kept them in the asteroid's sensor shadow. Docking in 3 minutes, Aaron whispered. Lisa felt the familiar calm of a mission settling over her. 5 years of civilian life hadn't erased her training. If anything, the stakes, Zoe's life, made her focus sharper than ever. The shuttle attached to an external maintenance port. Dylan worked quickly to bypass the airlock security. Within minutes, they were inside. Patrols pass here every 8 minutes, Dylan whispered, checking a small device. We have 6 minutes to reach the junction. They moved through dimly lit service tunnels, avoiding the main corridors. Maya led the way, followed by Lisa, with Samantha and the others behind. At the first junction, they split up, Dylan and Peter heading toward the lower levels, the rest continuing toward the facility's center. Lisa's heart raced when they passed the first security door. Maya's hacking skills got them through without triggering alarms. So far, so good. They reached a larger corridor. Maya held up her hand, signaling them to stop. Voices approached, the clicks and whistles of Vrisian speech. They pressed themselves against the wall in a shadowed alcove. 2 tall figures walked past Vrisians. Lisa got her first good look at her daughter's captors. They were tall and thin, with gray-blue skin and large faceted eyes. Their movements were graceful, almost flowing. After they passed, the team continued to the central computer room. 2 guards stood at the entrance. I'll handle this, Samantha whispered. She stepped out, appearing to stumble like a drunk. The guards approached, her cautiously. When they were close enough, Samantha moved with startling speed, striking both with a small device that sent electrical pulses through their bodies. They collapsed without a sound. Inside the computer room, Maya went straight to the main terminal. Give me 3 minutes. Lisa and Garrett stood watch while Samantha secured the door. I'm in, Maya said after 2 tense minutes. Accessing facility schematics. You were right, Lisa. There's a secondary hangar on the lower level hidden behind radiation shielding. Can you get us access? Lisa asked. Working on it. Also downloading research data. You need to see what they're doing here. The screen filled, with images and text. Lisa's blood ran cold. The Vrisians weren't just studying the children, they were experimenting on them. Altering their DNA, testing their responses to different environments and stresses. Monsters, Garrett whispered. Focus, Lisa said, though rage burned inside her. Where are they keeping the children? Maya pointed to a section of the map. Detention level as we thought, but there's more. Her voice faltered. There are over 100 children here, Lisa. Not 30. 126, from 23 different species. Lisa stared at the number in shock. Their small ship couldn't possibly evacuate that many. Maya continued working, her fingers flying over the controls. Got it. Secondary hangar access granted. And she inserted a small device into the terminal. Virus uploaded. This will scramble their systems and send the research data to every communications array in 3 systems. That wasn't the plan, Samantha hissed. Plans change, Maya replied. Everyone needs to know what they're doing. An alarm suddenly blared through the facility. Red lights flashed in the corridors. That's not us, Maya said, checking the terminal. The diversion in the lower levels must have started. Lisa's comm unit buzzed. Dylan's voice came through, punctuated by the sound of energy weapons. We've got a problem. They were waiting for us. Fall back to extraction point. Negative, Lisa replied. Continue to detention level. We're coming to you. The team left the computer room, moving quickly through corridors now filled with flashing lights and the sound of running feet. Lisa's mind raced. If the Vrisians knew they were coming, the mission was compromised. But she hadn't come this far to leave without Zoe. They encountered resistance at the next junction. 4 Vrisian guards. Samantha fired first, taking down 2 with precise shots. Lisa and Garrett handled the others. This way, Maya called, leading them down a maintenance shaft. Shortcut to detention. As they descended, Lisa thought of all the children waiting below. Not just Zoe, but 100 others. Their small ship couldn't save them all. Unless, Maya, Lisa said as they ran. Can you access the Vrisian ships in that hidden hangar? Maya glanced back, understanding dawning on her face. Yes, already ahead of you. The virus granted us control of 2 transport vessels. New plan, Lisa announced. We're taking their ships. They reached the detention level in time to find Dylan and Peter engaged in a firefight with Vrisian security. Between bursts of energy, fire, Lisa caught glimpses of holding cells beyond the guards and small faces watching the battle with fear and hope. We need to get past them, Lisa shouted over the noise. Samantha pulled a small orb from her belt. Cover your eyes! The flash grenade temporarily blinded the Vrisian guards. The team rushed forward, securing the area. Lisa ran to the nearest cell. Children of various species huddled together inside. Some looked almost human, others completely alien. All looked frightened. Where's the control panel? Lisa called. Dylan pointed to a terminal at the end of the room. There. But the virus has affected all systems. We'll need to override manually. As Garrett worked on the cell controls, Lisa moved, from door to door searching for Zoe. Her heart pounded with each unfamiliar face. Then, in the last cell, she saw her. Zoe sat in a corner, her knees pulled up to her chest. Her hair was shorter, and she looked thinner. But it was definitely her. Zoe, Lisa called. The little girl looked up. For a moment, she seemed confused. Then recognition dawned in her eyes. Mom? The cell doors slid open. Lisa rushed in, gathering Zoe in her arms. I found you. I'm here. Zoe clung to her, sobbing. You came. You really came. I will always come for you, Lisa whispered, tears streaming down her face. But there was no time for a longer reunion. Alarms continued to blare and more guards would be coming. Lisa, Samantha called, we need to move now. The 2 stolen Vrisian transport ships blasted away from the research facility, carrying over 100 rescued children. Lisa sat in the pilot's seat of the first ship, with Zoe secured safely beside her. Samantha commanded the second vessel, with Maya working to control the facility's weapon systems remotely. They're powering up defenses, Maya warned through the comm system. My virus can only hold them off for so long. Aaron, status? Lisa called to the second ship. The relentless dawn is meeting us at the rendezvous point, Aaron's voice replied. But we've got bigger problems. Consortium patrol ships are entering the system. Lisa looked at the navigation screen. They needed to reach the jump point, the place where they could enter faster than light travel. But first they had to get past the facility's defenses and any incoming consortium ships. Mom, are we going to be okay? Zoe asked quietly. Her small hand reached for Lisa's. Lisa squeezed her daughter's hand. Yes, baby, we're going home. She didn't know if that was true, but she would do everything in her power to make it happen. The facility launched fighter drones, small, fast vessels, with no pilots. 6 of them streaked toward the transport ships. Hold on, Lisa warned. She twisted the controls, diving beneath the first wave of attackers. The transport wasn't designed for combat maneuvers, but Lisa pushed it to its limits. Incoming transmission, Garrett announced from the communication station. It's from the consortium. A voice filled the cabin, speaking in the common language of space that Garrett had taught Lisa. Attention, stolen Vrisian vessels. Return to the facility immediately. This is your only warning. Tell them to go to hell, Lisa replied. Garrett smiled grimly. I'll phrase it more diplomatically. The fighter drones opened fire. Energy beams flashed past the viewports. Lisa rolled the ship, avoiding most of the fire, but one shot hit their shields. Shields at 80%, Dr. Rivera reported from her station. In the rear section of the ship, the rescued children huddled together, many crying or calling for their parents in various languages. Dylan and Peter moved among them, offering comfort and keeping order. Maya, we need those defense systems down now, Lisa called. Working on it, Maya replied. The virus is spreading through their network. Just need a few more seconds. The second wave of drones approached, closing in from all sides. This time, they couldn't evade them all. The ship shuddered as multiple hits struck their shields. Shields at 40%, Dr. Rivera announced. We can't take much more. Suddenly, the drones stopped firing. They drifted in space. Their guidance, systems offline. Got it, Maya shouted triumphantly. Facility defenses are down. All ships make for the jump point, Samantha ordered. As they accelerated away from the facility, Lisa saw the effects of Maya's virus spreading. The facility's lights flickered. Other ships docked there began moving erratically, their systems affected by the corrupted code. But the consortium patrol ships were still coming. 3 large cruisers appeared on the long-range sensors, moving to intercept them. We won't reach the jump point before they catch us, Garrett said, his voice tense. Just then, the relentless dawn appeared, weapons blazing. It moved between the transport ships and the approaching cruisers. Get those children to safety, Samantha's voice came through, now from aboard her ship. We'll hold them off. Samantha, no, Lisa protested. You can't take on 3 cruisers. Watch. Me? Samantha replied. Besides, I'm not just fighting. Maya's virus is spreading to their ships too. Their weapons are already glitching. Lisa wanted to argue, but Zoe tugged at her sleeve. Mom, the other kids are scared. Lisa looked at her daughter, then at the frightened faces in the rear compartment. Getting them to safety had to be the priority. Thank you, Samantha, Lisa said softly. Just make it count, Samantha replied. And Lisa, make sure everyone knows what happened here today. The relentless dawn engaged the consortium cruisers, its modified weapons causing surprising damage. The transport ships continued toward the jump point. Mom, look. Zoe pointed to the ship's communication screen. It was displaying multiple incoming transmissions, hundreds of them, from all over the sector. Maya's virus hadn't just disabled the facility's systems, it had broadcast the Vrisian research data to every communications array in 3 star systems. They all know, Garrett said in amazement. Everyone knows what the Vrisians were doing. The screen showed news feeds from various worlds. Beings of all species were reacting to the revelations, with shock, anger, and calls for action. The consortium leadership was being questioned. Protests were beginning on multiple planets. It's working, Maya said from the second transport ship. The Vrisians can't hide anymore. As they neared the jump point, Lisa checked the status of the relentless dawn. The brave ship was still fighting, but taking heavy damage. Then suddenly, something unexpected happened. 2 of the consortium cruisers stopped firing at the relentless dawn. Instead, they turned their weapons on the 3rd cruiser. What's happening? Lisa asked. Garrett studied the sensor readings. It looks like mutiny. Some of the consortium ships are rebelling. They must have seen the data. The jump point was now just minutes away. Behind them, more ships were entering the system, but not all were consortium vessels. Independent traders, mining ships, even vessels from non-consortium worlds were arriving. Some moved to help the relentless dawn. Others positioned themselves to block pursuing consortium ships. It's a revolt, Garrett said in wonder. 3 star systems are in open rebellion against the consortium and the Vrisians. They reached the jump point. The transport ships activated their faster-than-light drives, the stars stretching into lines as they escaped Cygnus Reach. When they emerged from faster-than-light travel, they were in neutral space, far from consortium control. A small station orbited a lonely moon, one of many outposts for independent traders and those seeking to avoid consortium authority. "We've made it," Garrett announced. "For now, we're safe." The station granted them emergency docking clearance after hearing they had rescued children aboard. Medical teams rushed to help. The station's administrator, a stern woman named Carol Harris, listened to their story in shock. "You have started something bigger than you know," she told Lisa. "The data you released has reached every corner of 3 systems. The consortium is facing internal collapse. The Vrizians are being abandoned by their allies." "I just wanted my daughter back," Lisa said, holding Zoe close. Carol nodded. "Sometimes the greatest changes come from the simplest motivations." Over the next few days, news continued to arrive. The rebellion spread across all 3 Vrizian-controlled systems. The consortium was fracturing, with many member species withdrawing their support. The Vrizians, once among the most powerful species, were now isolated and facing justice for their actions. More importantly, families from across known space began arriving at the station, reuniting with their abducted children. Tears of joy and relief filled the docking bays daily. 1 week after their escape, Lisa received news that Samantha had survived. The relentless Dawn, though heavily damaged, had made it to friendly space. Samantha's message was brief. Worth. 2 weeks later, representatives from Earth arrived, the first official human delegation to travel beyond their solar system. The data Lisa had released had forced the consortium to acknowledge humanity's existence and right to join the galactic community. "What happens now?" Lisa asked Garrett as they watched Earth's representatives meeting with leaders from other worlds. "Now," Garrett smiled. "Now humanity takes its place among the stars. And it all started because one mother refused to give up on her child." Zoe, playing nearby with children from a dozen different worlds, looked up and waved at her mother. Lisa waved back, her heart full. That evening, Lisa stood at a viewport looking out at the stars. Zoe stood beside her, small hand in hers. "Mom," Zoe asked, "are we going back to Montana?" Lisa thought of their small house, the quiet life they had left behind. So much had changed. She was now a symbol to many. The human who brought down 3 star systems just to save her child. "Yes," Lisa said finally. "That's our home, but I think we'll have visitors now and then." "From space?" Zoe asked excitedly. Lisa smiled. From space, as if on cue, a ship appeared in the distance. A new vessel bearing the markings of the coalition that had formed from the ashes of the consortium's control. The ship's name was visible on its hull, New Dawn. Lisa had been asked to help lead the new coalition, to represent humanity in this changed galaxy. She had asked for time to think about it. Zoe yawned, tired after her long day of playing. Lisa picked her up, feeling the familiar weight of her daughter in her arms. "Time for bed, sweetheart." As she carried Zoe back to their temporary quarters, Lisa passed aliens of various species in the corridor. Many nodded respectfully. Some whispered as she passed. The human woman who had changed everything. Lisa didn't care about any of that. She had found her daughter. The rest, the fallen star systems, the new alliances, humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage, those were just side effects. She had just wanted her kid back. And now, against all odds, she had her. Everything else was just stars and space.